So, it is literally, is it commercially viable and is it sustainable? Those are the kind of the things that people need to start building into everything that they look at moving forward. Is that?
Yeah. And what's new, kind of, and sustainability and climate change are not new, but what is new is that corporations are taking it very seriously. Very seriously. We've hit an inflection point. It's not something that people talk to anymore. It is something they are actually signing up to do, and it's coming down from the board and the CEO that these organizations are going to have sustainability goals. A lot of them are doing the net zero target, right? By 2030, we will be net zero. We will be carbon neutral. It is like the big thing. I don't remember when digital transformation was a big thing, and the CEOs were all like, "Oh, we need to digitally transform, digital transformation." I really haven't been around for a while. I feel the same kind of momentum in terms of this is the big transformative initiative that is driving corporations in the next 5, 10, 15 years.
Well, David certainly remembers the digital transformation, don't you, David? It was what made him famous.
Oh.
Well, I don't know about famous, Keith, but I was certainly involved in. Even now, there's still lots of switchovers from the old analog days to digital days. Super exciting. Now we're seeing it all history repeats itself again, but around sustainability. Marisa, you quoted 2030. I hear that quite a lot, by organizations, blue chip companies, global organizations saying 2030, we're aiming for carbon neutral. Vehicles are going to be, diesel and petrol, traditional ICE vehicles are going to disappear from our roads. We're going to go electric or hydrogen based or whatever it's going to be. Do you think, in your personal opinion, that is achievable on a global standard for all large corporates, SMEs, and small to medium-sized enterprises? Do you think we can achieve it? There's going to be challenges, I'm sure.
Yeah, let's separate it out. Carbon neutrality is totally achievable. The technology exists. It's really at this point cost and scale, right? And adoption. But the technologies exist. We can become carbon neutral, and take the carbon out of the atmosphere. And it's like 1.5 Celsius is kind of the goal. So it's doable, and we're seeing a lot of very interesting things around that work. A lot of new technologies, and in fact, I personally think new ecosystems and actually market will arise from the things that we're really observing now. Now, electrical vehicles is a different topic. Electric vehicles, the infrastructure required for us to move to truly electronic vehicles is quite challenging. So that is something that we look at very, very carefully, and I think with practically, you would essentially need every parking lot to have a charging station, and that is a big infrastructure change for a country like the United States to go through. So I think we have to be realistic about the promise of electric vehicles and overall transportation. It is not it's not a panacea. It's not going to solve it.
So is there a compromise here? A question I've got here is the compromise condition. Could you explain what that is and why we need to talk about it?
Yeah, so the compromise condition is essentially a way we think about things, and at Lux, it's at the end of the day, we're making very big decisions.
Yeah.
And let's face it, in corporations, in companies, we compromise with our decisions, right? They're consensus based, and as we try to be fact based. We try to be objective, but at the end of the day, our decisions are fraught with, very, let's like at the central core of your nervous system, primal emotions, and they're biased. And so we find that leaders are, and this could go across government and industry, right, are in a condition of having to compromise. And at the end of the day, if we continue to compromise and not make the very hard calls around climate change, are we really going to hit those goals?
There it is. You see, that just sums it all up, and I think that's a very bold statement to for you to make. So I think that's fantastic. And I mean, you see, at the heart of all this, is, I mean, who is responsible for it? Because we've got, we have politicians on one side and we've got businesses on the other, and politicians seem to have, their compromise is that they're only seeing the next 2 to 3 years or 4 years ahead, in their sort of, when they come up for vote next time, to be voted for. And companies are trying to put a 20-year sort of vision on, on their sort of sustainability goals and things. So, I mean, really, as the kind of only adult in the room here, and the big kind of $64 trillion question, I guess, is who needs to solve this problem? I mean, is it government, or is it kind of companies? And I mean, is it who's responsible for this?
We are all responsible there, and so I would say responsibility and accountability lies with every single person who lives on this planet. The ones who really touch it are the people in the industries that are causing much of the problem, right? So we're talking about manufacturing and energy. Energy is in a huge transition. To some degree, they're gonna do things on their own, the things to affect climate change, even if government doesn't tell them to do it or regulate, which they are not really there's really not regulation yet. They are waiting for it, so they are all preparing for it, but there isn't strong regulation, right? Strong laws against this or enforcement, like taxes, and if being taxed or on your carbon emissions. Saying that, there's other things going on. You have consumer demand, right? Yeah. So David just bought a car that's electrified, right? So consumers who buy things are pushing these decisions. Investors, it's huge, right? Last year we saw Exxon had 2 board members switched by the hedge fund. The investment arm was able to influence based on Exxon's policies around the carbon emissions. And you've got supply chain. There's a ton of other pressures on these organizations to change. Yeah. It's not just government that is forcing the change. And so at the end of the day, consumer and investor demand are huge levers for these organizations to change as well.
And we'd love you and your business to join us on our voyage. If you're interested in finding out more about how your small ship can help rescue the planet for free, sign up at www.streamaidlive.com, and we look forward to working with you.